morning, good afternoon, good night, happy Hanukkah, happy snow day. It is Gigs and Ghosts with me, your host, Mikey Shiraz. Episode number 2. If you were listening to episode 1, just want to say thank you very much. Subscribe and shit and give me 5 stars and all that jism. I was talking to my brother before I introduce you. I was talking to my brother about this. He's like, make sure you tell people to subscribe and to leave a good review, and it helps you. I was like, going cool, because I don't know shit about this.
Yeah, I mean, how's anyone going to know that they need to subscribe if you don't say subscribe?
Exactly. I mean, you know. But yeah, so there we go. That's it. So yes, like I say, this is episode 2 of Gigs and Ghosts. My guest today is Piper Dawes.
Hello.
She's a musician. She's a songwriter. She's a podcaster, a social media expert. You've gone viral. You've done it all, Piper. You've done it all.
That sounds really good. Probably big me up quite a lot there.
Well, this is good.
Let's bring it down now and tell the truth.
This is all true. I do my research. I know my facts. The thing is, Piper, this is how it's going to go here today. We do this in kind of 2 halves. It starts with part 1. We talk about Piper Dawes and your life in music. We're going to look in that rear view mirror and look at music past, where you've come from, what you did. We're going to look at where you're parked right now, what's going on with Piper and the world of music. Then we're going to put us pedal to the metal, go
and
forward.
Talk about the sex scandal, yeah.
The sex scandal, what's going to come in the future, and all sorts of shit. I mean, and then after that part, we're going to get spooky. We're going to talk about ghosts.
Cool.
Which is my favourite part. I mean, I do care about your music, blah, blah, shit, good for you and everybody at home. Yeah, they want to hear about it. And truly I do. But ghosts.
That's your jam.
That's what I really like. So, Piper, this is what I'm talking about. Let's start at the beginning. How old were you when you decided, look, music needs to be me. It needs to be my life.
Oh, God. I mean, there were several sort of false starts with me. So when I was in year 6, when was that? Like
Year 6, that's... 10?
10?
Yeah.
10-ish?
Yeah, 10, 11.
Something like that. Yeah. I started playing the violin because I wanted to do something. I think I got obsessed with Vanessa May. Do you remember Vanessa May?
I do. Yeah.
And I was very bad at it. And also I didn't go to lessons or do any practice. So so my mum just said, like, well, your dad plays guitar. Why don't he teach you how to play guitar? And I went, all right. It's not as cool as the violin. I don't know why I thought the violin was way cooler, but...
Well, no, when I was at school, it was the cornet.
Ah, you see.
And I was like, I want to play cornet. And I was about the same age, about 9, 10. And my parents were going, are you sure you want to play the cornet? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to play the cornet.
What had you heard? What?
Yeah, all the greats play the cornet, not knowing that ska would be my future or anything.
Right, yeah.
And then they went and they hired this cornet, which you had to do through school. And I went to one lesson, couldn't do it straight away, quit. Cornet stayed under my bed.
Oh.
Stupid cornet. Shit instrument.
It's not a trumpet, though, is it?
It's not. It's a stubby trumpet. Who played?
Stubby trumpet.
Are there any ska bands who play the cornet?
I don't know. Well, Wobbly Bob did for a little bit. Because I think the guy because we used to have 2 trumpets, and one of them was just like, I don't want to be second trumpet, so I'm going to
play cornet instead.
Yeah.
We'll get onto Wobbly Bob in a little bit, though. Let's go back. You're racing ahead. You've missed a service station. We're still here at the start of this journey.
All right.
Violin, Vanessa May.
Yeah.
Vanessa May said you were shit or something.
Yeah, Vanessa May was like, yeah, not for me.
Your dad was like,
yeah. So my dad started teaching me guitar, and then I kind of surpassed him quite quickly because he was a very casual player. He was just like, I know a few chords.
Yeah.
Go with that. And then I sort of got into Green Day and then a bit of ska and then I was like, do you know what? I'm just gonna do this in my bedroom. And then well, what's weird is that when I started going beyond just sort of like playing on my own, it started off with so my dad's a Methodist minister, and I was sort of in church bands for a long time, and so that's how I sort of cut my teeth in the live circuit. Was
hey, there's a lot of money in God Rock.
There is, yeah,
a lot of money in God Rock. Like,
yeah,
and then the more bands I found out over the years going, God Rock band, Creed,
yeah,
remember POD?
I love POD.
God band,
yeah.
Others. Who else?
Delirious, Why Friday.
Sorry, say them again.
Delirious?
Don't know.
No, that's okay. Why Friday? They're all right.
Pete 118.
Who? Are you making bands up now?
Peter 118.
You're just
Remember
trying to
that
make
band?
friends.
They went viral a few years ago because the dude was really annoying and he was like 50 but dressed like he was 13.
Oh, it sounds like most of the punk rock scene.
Pick it up. Awful
I'll
band.
tell you what, one that I did discover while I didn't realise we were going to get into Christian rock. One that I did discover when I was younger was this band called Worldwide Message Tribe, and they were from Manchester, and they were a hip hop group, and they just like dressed like they were all from the 90s. This wasn't even the 90s.
I do that now.
Well, yeah, fair enough, yeah, but it was so cheesy. It was just.
Do you remember any of the flow, any of the lyrics?
Yeah, there was this track called "Jumping in the House of God," which was like jumping in the house, jump up, jump in the house, jumping in the house of God. It's very good, very good.
That sounds like a banger.
Weird that I can remember that. I've not
It
sung
is.
that for like maybe 15 years.
I mean, there's that wicked Jesus Scar track where it's Scar Sucks by Propaganda, the music.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, Jesus is my pal or whatever.
Oh, that's Sunseed.
Sunseed.
Jesus is a friend of
Yeah,
mine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a banger. But yeah, the actual music for that, it is the Propaganda song, Scar
Yeah,
Sucks.
it is, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
But they look to be having a great time. Whatever happened to them?
What, Propaganda?
No.
Sunseed.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the guy played with Goldfinger.
Goldfinger, now Jesus.
No, the guy who wrote all the songs for Sunseed, he ended up doing a tour as a guest for Goldfinger, because it's like a Scar meme now.
Yeah.
Like so if he turns up at a Scar gig, no one's going to go, "Hey, it's a god man."
No, of course. I
He's
mean,
cool as fuck.
yeah, like when you look at that video, it looks like it's from the early 80s, so I guess it's not.
No, it's not. It was like maybe 96, I think.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's just it's whatever was in their church cupboard.
We are learning things here today. So, you cut your teeth playing in the House of God,
Yeah.
and where did you go from there?
So I moved to Bedfordshire, and my science teacher was in a barn dance band, and I was like trying to put the feelers out. This is year 8 now.
No.
I was trying to put the feelers out, trying to find a band to do a cover of War of the Worlds, because I was obsessed with War of the Worlds at the time. Mm-hmm. Just had these little weird obsessions with different things that are completely unrelated. But then he was like, "Well, I've got a bunch of folk songs that are a lot easier," so I started a folk group.
What was the folk group called?
It was called Jam Rock.
Strong name.
Which is not a reference to the reggae song by the same name at all. I wasn't aware of it at the time.
It sounds like a Disney Channel movie.
Yeah, and then that became Elentari, and then that became Caris, and then I realised that ska is a thing that exists, and dropped all the folk songs.
So how old were you when you decided folk is gone, ska is the way?
That was probably first year of sixth form, so I don't know how old that is.
But when you're about 17.
Yeah, 16, 17, something like that.
Was that Wobbly Bob or was
No, that was before. So I was in the first sort of proper band that anyone would have thought I was cool to be in was Find 28, which was so named because it was the answer. It was the question that the bassist couldn't answer in his GCSE maths.
That's how all good bad names come around. It has to be something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
Which, last week I was talking, we had Carl from Barstool Preachers and JAM, and we were talking about Shiraz and why we were called Shiraz and how we became called Sharaz. But we almost changed our name just before Fonts left. And some of the fucking terrible names that people were coming up with. Tower of Spite was one of them.
That's what I call my penis, Mikey. I don't know how that...
Article 24, which was the closest we got to the change. Article 24 is the right to party. The worst one, this was Fonts' idea. Oh golly, ! High school reunion.
I like that, but then I come from.
Really?
Then I. then I stuck with the scar, didn't I, Mikey? That's
You did,
exactly
yeah,
on brand for me. No, it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, so bad. I mean, I think I would have quit. Imagine, hi, oh golly, high school reunion. This is a song about a dog. You know. I think he was into like Panic in the Disco at the time and bands with exclamation marks.
Okay, I might have a word with him next time he's in the bar. I'll be like, Fonts, come on.
Well, then he quit. You see, he quit. And
If he'd have left you with that name, that would have been great.
Oh God, it would have been so bad. It would have been so bad. Oh, well, we wouldn't be around now.
Nah.
No. Sorry, I've just gone quiet because I'm just thinking about how...
He's reminiscing.
I'm thinking how bad the logo would have been and everything. I'm just like, here's a big thing. We're going to drop the exclamation mark, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, let's get back to you.
Let's talk about me, Mikey.
You're the guest. So, after that, Wobbly Bob came into the world.
Yeah, so I moved up to Huddersfield and was for some reason just kept on with the ska thing. I was like, I just want to do a ska band. I don't want to do anything else. I think because I grew up in going to gigs at Club 85 in Hitchin. I'm sure you played there before.
Yeah.
And that was where I experienced ska in real life, and I was just like, this is incredible. Like suddenly these really
Played there with Jesse James, I believe.
nice.
Yeah.
I never got to play on the stage there. I'm trying to get there with Carol, actually, like with Carol Hodge, but we'll talk about her in a bit.
Yeah, we'll get that.
Yeah, so I basically just watched this band play, and I was like, the guitars aren't going distorted. They didn't even have a brass section. They were a Magic School Bass. And they just played these sort of songs, and it was like they were doing all the cool pop punk stuff that I liked, but all the guitars were clean and rhythmic, and I was like, what the fuck is happening here? This is bizarre. Like, how are they getting away with this? They haven't even got a distortion pedal. It just blew my mind that they were making a big sound with lots of groove and rhythm and stuff, but had the attitude of pop punk.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of bands do this sort of thing where they go into sort of choruses with full distortion and stuff, and then they go back and forth and stuff. But these guys just stuck. I think it was Magic School Bus. Yeah, they just stuck to this ska rhythm the whole way through the set, and it was banging. So I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. I came up to Huddersfield, and I was just like, let's start a ska band. It ended up being not a ska band to start with, and
really,
because I got into Dream Theater.
Oh no!
See, this is my thing. This is what I was saying. I just kept flitting from different things.
Yeah.
I thought,
why Dream Theater?
Oh, I don't know, because you know what? If you get, I don't know if you've ever got obsessed with a complicated band like Dream Theater, but it's got diminishing returns. Like if you. Sorry to any Dream Theater fans, but like
I don't think there's many.
No.
Well, not listen. Well, I guess they like spooky shit.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God.
It's just a bunch of Dream Theater fans listening at home, isn't it?
No, man, just imagine.
Right, I bet they're getting sick now. Right. Yeah. They mentioned Big Band.
Oh, God.
No, so I was just like, let's do that. And then I realised I can't do that because I'm not... It's hard. It's too hard.
It's hard to be that much
I was
of a
like,
virgin.
let's do ska. So I did. So we started a band. Me and my friend Jay, who I met at Storrs Hall, and we started Wobbly Bob.
Before we go any further, is the beer named after your band, or the band named after the beer, or neither?
Now, is the thing right? We're not really sure how we got to the name. I think I came up with the name to start with because I was watching Big Brother, and there was Pete from Big Brother. Do you remember? Yeah,
Brighton
Pete. Yeah. So his bandmate was called Wobbly Bob, and I just heard the name come up on the telly.
I see.
And so I suggested it. Everyone said no. It's a stupid name, which it is. I will stand by that.
Well, it's a ska band, though. Ska bands have stupid names.
But we then went to I think we played a gig at the Grove, and they had Wobbly Bob on there at the beer Wobbly Bob.
Yeah.
Phoenix Breweries, sound out. And yeah, and we don't remember the night, so we were like, well, that's the only thing we remember from the night. So
and as a leader, what you say is good. So if you want to be called Wobbly Bob, you be called Wobbly Bob.
Yeah.
And if they don't like it, fired.
Yeah. I mean, they were probably right, because I kept trying to do some serious songs, and it never came across right because the name was still Wobbly Bob.
I know, but just the front bottoms. Front bottoms are out there.
Yeah,
it's a ridiculous
yeah.
name, but what a band, and they do a lot of serious songs.
Yeah.
You look at any band, when you get down deep into it, and you're like, the fuck does your name mean? Biffy Clyro. Named after a biro with Cliff Richard on. So, it doesn't matter as long as you create the impression that you can do this.
Is that real?
That is real.
No, I thought you just made that up.
No, that's it. That's an actual true fact.
Right. So, So okay. Well, fine. Okay, Wobbly Bob was fine then. That's okay.
Yeah.
we'll allow it. Stupid.
How long did Wobbly Bob go on for?
That was, I think, 12 years. It was a long ass time.
Good. Yeah. So you did quite a few records. I remember the album with the Wicked cover with you all.
Yeah,
You look
so
fabulous on that cover.
thank you.
Your hair was
We
red.
essentially, I basically went, we've got no money. What favors can we call in? What can we do to like have a really good album shoot and not pay any money? So I asked my friend Gemma Elizabeth. I think she's Daisy Cutter. She does burlesque stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I was, because she was getting into doing hair and makeup and stuff, and so I was like, hey, if I give you the pictures afterwards, can you do this for nothing? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh shit, okay.
Always the best.
And
way.
then we went into the photography studios in uni, which I was not allowed in.
Oh,
We just went in and did it.
oh really? Just...
We got a photographer who was a friend of the band, called Matt Grum, and he was in York, and he just turned up. We didn't pay for him. He turned up, took a load of photos. We got proper hair and makeup in a proper photography studio, and we didn't pay a penny.
Wicked.
Which is, I
Perfect.
think, great at the time. But now I'm just like, oh man, pay your friends. Like, I do feel bad for that, but like the fact that I blagged it, I'm still a little bit proud of.
I mean, it's the punk rock way.
Yeah.
And then, so what year did Wobbly Bob come to an end? 'Cause
Yeah, so we did. We sort of released
this
our.
is why I'm confused, because I remember booking Wobbly Bob, and then after that, I wasn't booking Wobbly Bob.
Yeah.
Because Wobbly Bob wasn't there.
Well, what we did was we got our shit together for one single.
Yeah.
We headlined the trans stage at Manchester Pride, and launched the single there. It did quite well, and we got a decent music video, and then we kind of lost steam. I moved to Hebden Bridge. We realised we hadn't talked in the chat for like 6 months, so I was just like, I don't think this is happening anymore, because we'd all got busy. We got.
I want the deep goss.
No, there's no deep goss.
I want to know the deep goss. Give me the goss.
All right. Well, so there was a time when I, without trying to offend all the band members, there was a
We
time
can give
when
them different names.
we can, if you want, but they'll know who they are.
Yeah.
There was a time when I thought it was like the perfect version of it.
Yeah.
When everyone could sing in the band, there was a horn section, they all harmonised with each other, and as good as everyone was after that, it just never quite felt the same for me. So that's when I was just like, do you know what? I'm going to move on and do other things, because...
So you're the catalyst. You're the one who killed Wobbly Bob.
Yeah.
You run the stake through.
That's my fault.
Because I was blaming other members. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I thought it was someone else.
Yeah, I mean, Joe is a bit of a dick.
Joe the bastard.
Joe's the bastard
the
man.
Wobbly Bob killer.
Yeah.
But good memories in Wobbly Bob, right? You played with a lot of legendary bands.
Thanks to you, mostly, Mikey, actually, because like...
I do what I can.
Yeah. So when I moved to Huddersfield, I started going to the West, which don't know if you know the West.
I know it very well. I have vague memories.
Yeah. And you got us our first ever gig, which I think was Duncan from Snuff.
Oh, Billy No Mates.
Billy No Mates. Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't actually Billy No Mates, it was his solo thing.
Oh, right, cool. I forgot I booked that.
I think. I've got the poster somewhere anyway.
Yeah.
Work it out. And then I did, whoever was running the venue at Parish at the time, Carl, yeah,
My brother.
he booked me in for Mr. Workaday. And that was, I mean, I have no idea who they were, to be honest. Like,
No, I've not.
I think it was one of those bands that just like did headline stages for a bit and then disappeared.
Yeah.
But yeah, they that was fun. And then we did. You kept booking ska bands and then going on, well, Wobbly Bob's a ska band. Just
you
go
see,
boom,
there
boom,
was
boom.
luckily it's changed again now. Well, in the early noughties, ska was everywhere, and I came from that scene, so I would book a lot of ska bands.
Yeah.
And then when I started booking them at the Parish, no more ska bands about, like in the local area.
Including yourself. Like,
Yeah, we stopped. We're like, ska, kiddie music.
Yeah.
I don't mean I still enjoy ska. But yes, and you were always about.
Yeah, so we had Sonic Boom 6. We had, I think we played with the Skins during that era. Jay of the Cat, definitely.
Toasters, Suburban Legends.
Suburban Legends. And like, suddenly we were just like, well, we're not even that good. What the fuck's happening?
But it wasn't just in Huddersfield. You were getting gigs out of hoods we played.
Yeah. We went one time. We went all the way down to Brighton, and that's the furthest we've been. Like we didn't want to go too far from home, but we went all the way down to Brighton and did a headline gig at the Hobgoblin. And that was an absolute riot. We sold it out.
No way.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck we sold it out.
Good work. What was the cap? Like 10 or
No.
300?
No, it was. I think it was 250.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
That's pretty good going.
Yeah.
Do you remember who spotted you? 'Cause I'm not bragging about
No,
this.
it was just us. It was a 3-hour set. Because we did.
You taking the piss?
No. Well, this is the thing we used to do. Is we also used to go into sort of rural pubs and do sort of a half function, half
I know the sort.
sort of thing, and so we'd do a lot of two-tone covers and then covers of modern pop songs in a ska style, and like, I mean, I know that's the ska vibe anyway, but we took the piss with it a bit, and basically the first half was just all covers, and then we'd get back on stage having definitely agreed to pay, and then we go, right, these are our own songs.
Yep. As long as the contract's signed, do what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you were lucky enough once to have me sing a song with you on stage.
Yes.
I remember that.
Which one was it? Was it She Has a Girlfriend Now?
It was just a girlfriend now. Yeah, it was. That was good. And then, so you personally killed Wobbly Bob.
I did. Stamped on his head.
So, look, I hate the rest of the people in this band. I want no part of this.
I love them all.
This fucking band. Didn't you move on to doing EDM?
I did, well, sort of, yeah. So I did, for a bit, I did a stint.
Electronic dance music.
Yes, yeah. So covers, but it's an umbrella term for like dubstep, drum and bass, trap, psytrance, trance, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. But it's kind of got its own vibe now as well. But yeah, so I started doing a DJ night on Saturdays at Hebden Radio, just playing EDM tunes before people went out on a night out. Yep. It's like quite good fun. Started making my own. Realised it takes me about 3 months to make a track because it's fucking hard. It's really hard because basically you've got to make all the instruments from scratch and then play them and then record and mix and master them.
And
like, it's all one.
Just pop pills and dance to it. Not the pain it goes.
No idea what we go through. Did that for a bit, and I do still do that every now and then. I released. I mean, we're jumping forward here, but it's
okay.
It's okay. I'm in charge. So yeah, recently did a couple more tracks. I did under my Psytrance name. I did which is Slipgate.
Is what, sorry?
Slipgate.
Slipgate.
Yes, named after the little transporter pads in Quake. It's cool.
Nerd shit.
Yeah. Yeah, did a Psytrance track, which is a remix of a track by Simon G, who is the DJ at Camel.
Do you mean Simon and Garfunkel?
No, Simon G. Simon Goulding. Simon G.
Oh, I don't understand this sort of music.
It's the... What?
I know Pendulum. They're good, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
In my darker history, I went to a few raves, but drugs.
Good. I mean, I'm glad you experienced it.
Yeah. I mean,
I do a bit of drum and bass as well. My other name is Flossed in Paradise, and I do...
all these names.
Yeah, that's a cool
like
one.
That name.
I thought you might like that one because Fifth Element, isn't it? Flossed in Paradise.
Is it?
Flossed in Paradise.
You see, Fifth Element, it's not a film I adore, but it's a film I've seen more than any other film because it always used to be on Film 4. It's the only channel I had. So I've seen it loads of times.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite films.
Is it?
It's good.
Good times.
Bruce Willis. Excellent. Yeah, so I do drum and bass under that name and do a bit of dub production as well. Recently did a dub remix for the sax player from the Slackers.
Ooh!
Yeah, Eric Molina.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Did you ever play with the Slackers?
No, actually. They completely passed me by until very recently, and then...
Incredible band.
Yeah,
I go so far as to say top 5 in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I like this sort of revival thing that's happening now with ska because it's the sort of first wave coming back.
Yeah. I mean,
Interrupters are doing sort of like a mishmash of everything, which is
they're doing great stuff at the moment. We talked about them and the Skints last week with Barstool Preachers and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming through at the moment, and a lot of good stuff that people are taking notice of again, like Slackers.
Yes,
they made their Huddersfield debut a few months ago.
Yeah,
which was freaking beautiful. I enjoyed that a lot.
I did not get a ticket.
Should have just come along.
I should have just come along.
Yeah.
I think I was busy. I can't remember what I was doing.
Too busy for the Slackers.
I know.
And then, so EDM, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I did that for a bit. Then lockdown happened.
This is where we're going to talk. This is where you started going viral.
Yeah, it's weird, this, isn't it? It's a bit weird time in my life.
Hyper did some crazy stuff over lockdown.
So I was like, I just moved back to Huddersfield, and I did not know what to do with myself because I was like, because I'd been made redundant, or no, I think at that time I was on what's it called? What was the word? The other R word.
Surf and bird. Blancmange.
No, when you're technically still at the job, but they're paying you not to work, sort of thing.
Oh. That thing.
I mean, I've put the whole thing out of my head, so I've forgotten all the words.
In the lockdown time, hey, you're getting blah blah sugar. Did it begin with P?
No, I think it begins with R.
Pergulator.
Yeah, I was pergulated for a bit.
Yeah, there's a word.
Yeah. Write in.
Yeah.
Let us know. Yeah. So I wasn't working for whatever reason, and then Then I got made redundant, and I was like, shit, I'm not allowed to leave the house. I got to do something. So there's a Scar group of like 16,000 people, something like that, on Facebook, and we just all send memes to each other, and it's funny. So at some point I was just like, can we not harness the power of this group? There's got to be some players in this group.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, send me a message. And I got like 200 messages. Managed to whittle it down to about sort of 30.
How did you whittle down?
Most people said they didn't have recording gear, or they didn't, because it's going to be remote because they're all over the world. Yeah. Most of them didn't have the right equipment, or the time, or the inclination, or
Well,
whatever.
I got taught a big life lesson as a child. It's to do with books. It's always judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, it's very important. Yeah.
So do you like look at a picture and go,
oh, I profiled all of them. Don't worry.
Wicked.
No, I so basically managed to basically realise that there were a good set of maybe 25, 30 people that really wanted to do it. And so I arranged a cover of Panic at the Disco's. What's the song called now?
Is it closing the goddamn door?
No, it's the other one.
I know that one.
It's gone. But anyway, it was it was the first one we did.
It changed your life.
Shit. That one didn't go viral. It's fine.
Yeah.
So we did a cover of Panic at the Disco, and it was good, bouncy fun.
And who was in it at this time?
So,
Give me some of the names.
My boy Joel, who is Joel's amazing. He's a sousaphone player. Who's got Scottish in his blood. So he was like, he's American. So like.
You can't just make shit up. He plays a sousaphone. What is the sousaphone?
That's a made-up word.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like a very, 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 very big trombone. It sort of stands up on top of your shoulders.
Tuba.
Yeah, but a tuba.
So we'll go with a real word. He plays a tuba, and he's not Scottish.
He's gonna kill me. He wears a kilt. So he. He's in it. Eric Molina, who is from the Slackers, also plays in Mephistopheles. Shit tons of names that have all gone now. Andy from Andy B in the World.
And, formerly Fandangle, formerly Mr. Zippy.
Yeah, and Upbeat All Stars.
Yeah, all sorts of bands.
Yeah. He's a fucking legend.
Lovely fella. He's actually WhatsApped me today, and I need to reply. He's actually WhatsApped me about 5 times over the last 2 weeks. And
when he's on it, he's really on it.
He's one of those people who sends you messages, but it's a voice message.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a text.
Yeah.
And that freaks me out.
Yeah, just
am I meant to do that back?
So I'm always like, yeah, just call me, and then I won't answer.
Well, no, nobody likes to talk on the phone.
No, just send me a text message. It's 2023. Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Grow up, Andy.
So we also had Sean Dickens from Fighting Evil is Cool, who we played with Wobbly Bob. Tom and Eve Crabb from Leadshot Hazard, very good ska band. A few more names. I mean, they're all on the all the YouTube descriptions. Go and have a look because I've got terrible memory.
But so during lockdown, you did quite a few covers.
Yeah, we did a lot.
Yeah, and then suddenly, you went viral.
Yeah, so we did
crazy viral.
I think it was our third single. We did "Misery Business," and I didn't think that was our strongest track. Like I didn't think. It was good, but
people love that song.
Yeah, they do, and we went viral first of all in Peru, which, as you all know. Massive ska scene in Peru.
Massive ska scene, massive Paramore scene. Haley Williams is Peruvian.
She is, yeah.
Yeah.
She's not. Yeah. So we got like, I think it's 2.5 million reach on that track, which was insane.
Yeah.
And then I was like, right, well, I can never get that again. So I was like, how can we top that? Let's do something stupid. So we did. So I said to them, what if we tried to play the fastest thing we could? Mm-hmm. And someone said, well, what's the hardest song on Guitar Hero? And they're like, Fire in the Flames by Dragon Force.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, well, we're not up in the tempo like we normally do. We'll do it at speed. I think it's 244 BPM. Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's staying there. I'll write out the fast bit. And then if the trumpet players, particularly Toots, who used to play in Wobbly Bob and lives in Scotland, she was also playing trumpet for us. Mm-hmm. She said, I'll give it a bash. I said, if you can play that 16-bar bit that goes really, really fast, then we'll try it. But at the moment, it's just a silly idea. And she literally was, I don't know, she was in a shack in Scotland. She just filmed herself doing it. I've got the video somewhere. It's really
All
funny.
Scottish people are in shacks.
I know.
My dad's Scottish, I know this.
Yeah.
Shack people.
They're shack people. That's the real name for them. They're not really Scottish. They're shack people.
Well, Scotland as well is Scottish for shack.
Yes,
Shackland.
it's true. Have you been listening to my podcast?
No. We'll get on to that then.
Yeah. So she like literally had the notes for 2 hours and then sent me this video of her just playing it pretty much flawlessly on the trumpet. This
like that.
thing that's like written for guitar just played perfectly, and I was like, I didn't even change the key, just perfect. So I was like, okay, guys, Toots has set the bar there. We've got to do it. So we did it.
It was really good. It was very good.
It was all right. We all dressed like Warhammer characters. And,
Yep.
And I got a Sony VFX like fire thing with like lots of fireworks and explosions and stuff, and just shoved that on the video, and the rest is history. And it was.
Did Dragon Force hear it?
Do you know what? That was the one thing that I really wanted, because Herman Lee, guitarist from Dragon Force, he does reviews of covers of Through the Fire and the Flames on his Twitch channel, and I was like, well, if we're gonna do this, we need him to see it. And one of the things that meant that it was so easy to market this project, which is called Housebound Scar Collective, by the way.
Did we not say
that? No,
that?
we didn't mention that.
No, there you go. Housebound Scar Collective.
So we have this way, because there were so many of us, we could just market en masse without putting much effort in. We all messaged him. We all got him on Twitter. We all messaged him, like, never responded.
Oh, no.
Never looked at it. And I think he's still, to this day, I don't think he's looked at it.
Oh, that's
the only Scar cover, the only brass cover of Through the Fire and the Flames.
Well, playing on...
He's here tonight!
Yeah, the 1st of April, that band, Vigil... can't remember the name. But Bucks about the Parish, the bassist, she's in Dragon Force, so show her.
Oh!
There you
Really?
go. Dreams come true on Gigs and Goes with Mikey Shiraz.
Vigil of Evil?
There. Yeah, well, she's the bassist in Dragon Force.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll pop down then.
Yeah. Take me, Sadie, please. Yeah. And did you do any more after that?
Yeah, so we did... I mean, we did a lot in between that. We did
You did
Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
That was one of my favourites. It was like a Scarcore version. It was a bit more sort of gritty. I did a black and white bit in the video. Right.
Very cool.
It's what means it's core. That's the core bit.
It's hard.
We also did... my personal favourite was Green Day, Welcome to Paradise, because we took that and for me... I'm sure. Do you like Green Day?
I love Green Day.
I like Green Day. That song I think is quite boring.
No,
right,
I think you're wrong there.
Well,
I think Dookie's one of the most perfect punk rock.
Yeah, fair enough. That's okay. But like, for me, I didn't get enough enjoyment from it, so I basically wrote a whole new melody for the. Because usually, if you're going to do
you're more talented than Billy Joe, is what you're saying.
I am, yes.
Right. Okay.
So I was like, well, when we choose a Scar cover, it's basically got to have a melody that isn't the vocal, so that the horns have got something to do. But this didn't, so I was like, right, well, I've got to write one, and it ended up being a lot of fun. But then we got attention from one of my absolute Scar heroes, Scartoon Network, who does Scar covers in their bedroom, and they messaged us and just went, do you want to do a collab? And I was like, fuck yeah.
Yes.
As it was, they had like problems with the vocal cords and like couldn't sing when we needed it doing.
Yeah.
But I was like, do you know what? It's fine. We'll just play an instrument. So they played like trombone on it and did like a little pre-video for us and stuff. And it was really, really sweet. Like, and it was just nice to have that room on our video, because it's a room that I'm really familiar with all the posters in the background and everything. Like, it was very cool. And yeah, so the cover we did for that was Gorillaz, Feel Good Inc. Yeah, and all that. So we've got a lot of talent in the group beyond just music. A lot of them are illustrators. So I was like, if we're gonna do this track, we've got to become cartoons at the end.
Yeah.
So we somehow...
Did you pay them?
We did. No, fuck off. They're in the band. Come on. So yeah, we all got paid through the Patreon. It's okay. But yeah, they 20p.
Yeah, you said.
But yeah, they basically said, yeah, we can do it, but it's no more than 30 seconds at the end of the video because I don't know.
It takes time.
Yeah. They're doing it live. Their arm gets tired.
Yeah, of course.
So we did that, and it looked great. I mean, it wasn't like Gorillaz, but like it looks really good, and I was really pleased that I cried when I watched it.
Did you?
Lovely.
Oh,
absolutely
that's
lovely.
sweet.
Yeah, it was sweet. If you're not watching this on YouTube, Mikey just gave me the most horrible little look.
No, that's nice, man. It's good. Music is good when music makes you cry, but it wasn't music. It was
It was.
And cartoons have made me cry.
Yeah, it was the fact that we achieved something. I think.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Do you think you're gonna do anything else with it? Are you gonna take it on the road?
We've sort of slowed down a lot because everyone's back at work now. Because we were putting out 1 or 2 a month, which was insane because I had literally nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So that's not happening anymore. It's maybe 1 or 2 a year at the moment. But we've recently done Blinding Lights. The Weekend. Do you know that one? Dun dun da 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 dun 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 da 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 dun dun da da dun dun.
Yeah.
There you go.
Blinded by the light.
Yeah. So we did that, and
dude. I thought that was from the 80s.
It does sound like it.
Yeah.
It's not. So we wanted to take it on the road. We definitely did.
Yeah.
We looked at a very baseline, because I'm not very good at budgeting. I was like, how much would it cost to get us all in one room anywhere in the world?
Yeah.
And it's about £30,000.
Wow.
So I was like, right, great. So let's start a Patreon.
Or you could do what you did with Wobbly Bob, sack them all and set up something new and just take it as your own.
Yeah. MIDI horns.
MIDI horns. But you won't need a sousaphone player.
A sousaphone player, no.
There you go. And so moving on from there, next stop, is it the Carol Hodge?
Well, we we can go back a little bit. While I was in lockdown, I also did a podcast.
Oh yeah, you were. Yeah.
I mean, it's not music. It's not gigs.
No. But you do a podcast.
I did.
Is it over now?
It's over now. Yeah, we got fed up with each other.
Yeah, is that true?
No. I mean, it was just a bit like we wanted to just hang out as friends instead.
And
of
it was
just
killing the friendship.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Like, it was just like, because, I mean, if you've ever listened to that podcast, it's just me being a fucking idiot and Chris making up facts. And
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But it was the only interaction we had. And he was my best friend from school. So we rekindled over lockdown and started doing this thing. And it was great for about 86 episodes. And then we were just...
86?
Yeah, we did quite a lot. Yeah,
That's a lot.
Yeah,
it wasn't many listeners.
No. But it's really good. I was really proud of it, to be fair. So it's basically, if you've ever heard No Such Thing as a Fish, the QI podcast, they pick 4 favourite facts from the week and then talk about them. We did exactly the same thing, except the facts weren't true.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe the amount of people that got through maybe 4 or 5 episodes and were just like, how do you know this? How do you know all these things? Donald Trump released a perfume called Trump. And with the tagline, Trump, other Trumps.
It's believable though, because Donald Trump's a piece of shit and he's done a lot of bad things.
Although we did have one, they keep coming true. There's these weird ones that we were made up, and then I'd send Chris a link every now and then, going like, are we gods?
Maybe you are
Because we did one where Trump did because we liked taking the piss out of Trump on the podcast. That was quite fun, and we said like that Donald Trump released a top Trump deck.
Here we are.
And here we are now, and he's got NFTs. And the Photoshop job that I did on the artwork for the episode was literally Donald Trump looking muscly as fuck as a giant over the White House.
Imagine if he saw that and he was just like, that's it.
But that's the thing. If anyone's been paying attention to the news recently, he's just released a bunch of NFTs, and they look exactly like my artwork, and it's so weird. Because we were like, what's the most ridiculous thing that's more ridiculous than Trump that could never quite be, he'd never quite go that far. And we picked it, and he did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he will ever go too far for himself. He had Trump steaks at one point. Do you know
Steaks?
He had a steak company.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me.
He had a Trump University.
Yes, yeah. Which wasn't real university.
Trump Airlines. All these things have just failed.
Yeah.
Failed. What a piece of fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, stupid Trump. So that was a podcast. You can still listen to it and shit.
You can, it's all on Spotify and Apple Music or whatever it's called, and then all your good podcast things.
And then we reach Carol Hodge.
So also during lockdown, you guys at the parish, you started doing a magical live gig thing.
The empty venue sessions.
Empty venue sessions, which were brilliant. You had Nosebleed that opened them up, I think, wasn't it?
We had some great bands coming through.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. We did our first ever gig at that empty venue session.
We did.
Because we did a little socially distanced practice and then went and did it. And it was a lot of fun. It went
really,
down
well.
Really
I think it was one of the highest viewed.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. And we also, I think Ed set up a camera that was just pointed directly at my crotch the whole gig, which was great because my trousers broke.
Yay!
So I was like, I'll just lower the strap a bit on my guitar. It's fine.
That punk rock power stance.
Yeah, it's just because my zip's gone.
Yeah. But, tell us a bit about the Carol Hodge band.
So Carol Hodge, if you don't know already, she has been cutting her teeth on the live circuit as a solo artist for a very long time now. And
started when she was 15.
She
now
is
56.
She's bloody not. She'll kill you.
She's 40.
She'll have your bollocks off.
For 25 years, she was telling me about this.
Yeah.
25 years of playing.
That's amazing. Yeah, and you'll hear more about Carol Hodge in another episode because she's coming.
We will. We did record an episode with Carol Hodge, which was meant to be the first one, but technology happened and it didn't record, which is a pity because we had a really nice chat. It was like it was a long chat. She told me some great stories. The ghost part was exceptional. She got some great views. Don't know if you've got to be as good as her.
Okay, well, I'll do my best.
But yeah, so you've been touring with Carol Hodge lately and stuff. And
yeah, so we've we went around the UK supporting an Americana band called Sarah Borges and Eric Campbell, and they were fantastic. Mm-hmm. We had loads of fun. It's actually, considering how long I've been playing for, and I know you had Carl on, who's done everything, but this is my first ever tour. I know.
Really?
My first ever tour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Fucking loved it.
Damn right.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as we got off it, I was like, right, obviously I need a few days break, but I want to go again.
No, that's the thing you see. When we did our first tour, we'd been with each other for every day, and we got home after touring on that first night. We also just started messaging each other going, do you want to go to the pub? Because it wasn't the same not being with each other, so we all went out and met in the pub and just sat there going, post-tour blues. Post-tour blues.
No, it's horrible. It's not good at all. It really does hurt because you're just like, these are your housemates and they've just abandoned you.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, the band we played with, so it had the Eric Campbell was the guitarist from the Joan Jett and the Runaways. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. Sorry.
Sweet.
And he was just super lovely guy.
Yeah.
He used to he was getting up on stage and like he'd introduce every song for about 20 minutes before he'd play it.
I love it.
At first we were just like, who is this guy? And then we realised that he's actually really, really, really sound. And we fell in love with him by the end of the tour. Brilliant man. But yeah, if you haven't checked out Sarah Borges, beautiful singer. She's great. But Carol's my gal. She is fucking brilliant. And
Phenomenal.
I'm really pleased with that She asked me to be in her band. It's mad.
She speaks very highly of you.
Does she?
She
That's
does.
good.
Like this.
I'd hate to speak highly of her. Yeah, I'd hate for you to go like, well, it's not. It's interesting you say that because she thinks you're a dickhead. Like, oh yeah.
No, she hasn't said that yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. Well, I've had a lot of fun with this because I do a lot of the sort of programming for the tour as well.
Yeah.
So I do the I've got what she calls my magic box, which is it's a rack of stuff. And so she plugs her mic into that, and when we do harmonies, her harmonies are bolstered by the guitar chords, which put a choir of Carol around Carol, and then we've got some sort of string synths and stuff to build up on, like triggered by the guitar, and I get a lot of tech involved, and
It's very clever.
Makes my tech head very, very happy. Yeah, it's good fun.
Piper's a nerd.
Piper is a nerd.
But yeah, good. It works. I mean, I've seen it live a few times, and I love it. I really enjoy watching it. I really enjoy listening to it. I really love watching how Matt is in a new metal band playing with you.
Yeah, he's
Matt's the bassist.
Matt is he plays bass for Carol. I've known Matt for bloody billions of years.
20 years, I think.
Yeah. I remember because he used to live with me.
He did.
When he fun story about you is when you first told Matt that you can live at the Wobbly Bob house, I think was what you said to him, and he was like, oh, because he didn't know me at the time, and he went, what are they like? Because he told me this, and apparently you went, they're a lot.
I meant there's a lot of you.
He took that. He was like, shit, I'm going to Party Central. Oh no. And he turned up, and my mum met him before I did, and he was just in his boxers, high as balls, and like my mum just went, you must be Matt. And I hadn't met him at all at that point, and I was moving my stuff in and stuff, and like he I think he just went off to his bedroom and stuff, so I didn't see him until the morning. I brought him a cup of tea, and he was just like, I was expecting you to be, I don't know, like partying or asleep for like 3 days or so. It's one or the other with you, isn't it? I was like, what Mikey told you? I'm like, have the tea, it's fine. I'm a tea person, it's okay.
Now I'm going to go downstairs and have some meth.
Yeah.
The
meth was the secret thing.
Because
Yeah.
your dad's a meth?
Oh yeah, my dad's a meth dealer. No, he's he's a crystal Methodist, yeah.
Yeah, the crystal Methodist, that's it. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
We got the... But that's you today. That is you right now. You are in the Carol Hodge band.
Yes.
Going out, doing some more tours.
Yeah, well, we've got a few sporadic dates booked. Sarah Borges wants us back in summer when they come for their tour, but I think that might be under wraps at the moment.
It's out there now.
She's mentioned it anyway. It's not necessarily a definite, but like...
So 100% you're touring in the summer.
We'd like to, and basically the fact that they said we like you enough to bring you back on if you want to, that was nice. I was just like, cool. And then I said, this is my first tour, because I thought I'll pick my moment to say that. She was like, oh, it doesn't seem like it. I was like,
because you're so old.
Yeah. Oh no, that's it, isn't it?
But yes, so that was the music portion of the podcast with you, Piper. Now shit's gonna get spooky.
Do you know what, Mikey, actually, before we go any further, I was actually considering, like, just for you, because I know you like scary shit, I was going to do a dubstep remix of the theme tune, but I didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
It's fine, don't worry.
No.
Are we still friends?
Yeah. Yes. So, but let's start this ghost section of the podcast. Piper Dawes, question number 1.
Okay.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Tricky.
Nothing wrong with tricky.
It's so the whole sort of concept of ghosts as a fully formed package. This is, if an experience happens, it's part of this whole folklore of ghosts. I don't buy into. However, I do think that however long ago we all thought the Earth was flat. Who's to say we know everything now? We definitely don't know everything now. There's stuff we don't understand. Whether that's the residual memory of a person, or if it's spirits in another plane trying to contact us, then who knows? Maybe I don't know. But I think it's okay to say I don't know.
I think it's fine to say you don't know. I think it's where a lot of people do go to. But why do you think people have such an obsession with the idea of ghosts, the paranormal, hauntings, this whole sort of thing?
I think for some people, it's for some select people, it can be a bit of an ego thing. It's like, I can't deal with the idea that I don't understand this. It's the same reason people don't believe in ghosts. I think it's the idea that no, it has to be something explainable. Therefore, it's ghosts. So, but that's it. That's it. There's those people but then there's the people who have also got that ego that say, "Well, I know it's ghosts."
Well, because it is ghosts.
Because it's ghosts.
Because
like you, yeah.
Because, I'm going to say I don't know what your belief is like in other things. I mean, do you believe in UFOs?
So that's a weird one because there are unidentified flying objects. Do you believe in aliens?
Aliens coming from space.
I don't know. It's probably the same with ghosts.
Cryptids.
That's fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of the cryptid thing comes from internet folklore now, like with Slender Man. That's a weird one because that's literally a creepypasta, but someone actually fucking killed themselves because of...
People have murdered people because of Slender Man.
Yeah.
Those girls who murdered the mate.
But that tells me that there's a lot of human fuckery going on that actually goes into a lot of this this folklore and a lot of this this fear of something that isn't real.
You see, but...
Because Slender Man's not real.
Yeah.
Because it's a creepypasta.
Yeah.
However, if people are going to treat something like that real, then it definitely sort of...
all has to come from somewhere. It all has to come from somewhere. I remember when I must have been about 6 years old, and there was a noise outside my house, and I remember like it was yesterday. My dad went outside and called my mum out, and my brother, my sister... my other brother, they all went out because this noise that was going on. I was not allowed to go outside, and there was something. We lived by this wood, and there was something.
What sort of noise?
Creepy. And they said it was like this.
That's my new ringtone.
Some sort of it was like some sort of creature.
Okay.
No fur or anything, just naked, and it was just weird.
Oh, you saw it?
I wasn't allowed out, but they all saw it.
Okay.
They all talked about it.
That's a hell of a drug.
Your dad was there. But yeah, it's like, I think I believe in cryptids. Black-eyed children.
Ooh.
Crazy,
Oh, do you know what? Like, regardless of whether or not I think that whole thing is real, the concept just terrifies the shit out of me. If I was just if you're in a room on your own, the thing I look out for behind me is black-eyed children. That's for some reason that really captures my fear senses.
Especially at night time, in my living room, I can see into the kitchen. I can see the back door, which is glass, and I try and not look at that because I'm always scared that one day
I'd be covering it.
I'm going to look and there's going to be some black-eyed child just going.
Yep.
What a bad do that would be. Oh God, I'd hate that.
Nope.
Yeah, but like we were saying, you said it it's an ego thing, but people do love to talk about ghosts.
Yeah, I think there's also some for everyone that's just a bit of a dickhead about it on either side of the spectrum. There's an equal number of people who genuinely just have a faith in ghosts. I guess it's because it is a faith, really, isn't it? Obviously I have a church background, so I'm going to think about it in those terms. It is a belief system.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
But it's you were saying I touched on this with Carl last week. If you're out somewhere and you start say a ghost story, people always get involved, and everyone seems to have this. Well, most people seem to have their personal story or whatever. And you were saying about Mia, said that she didn't believe in ghosts, and then told you the most terrifying ghost story of something that happened.
Yeah,
to her.
so I mentioned this to Mikey on the ride over, and that I went to a party with a bunch of girlfriends from parish, and they all were telling these ghost stories, and one of our friends, Mia, I think it was Mia, she was like, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe it. It's all rubbish. I've never seen a ghost. It's bollocks. Absolute fucking rubbish. And then she came at the end and she was like, after hearing everyone's, she was like, oh, I did see one thing once. And it was just like fucking something about a ballroom that she went in her grandparents, and like there was this dancing couple going around the room, and then one of them like held out their hand to her and then disappeared, and I was like, that's insane. How did you think that, like, you've never had a ghost experience and then you just fucking pull that out of the hat?
Yeah.
I'm like, but that's the thing, isn't it? There's always one person that doesn't believe in any of it, and actually if you dig deep enough, they've probably got some sort of experience that they haven't thought about.
It's like one of my friends, I won't name him because I don't think that's very fair, because he'll be pissed that if people found out that he believes in ghosts.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah.
Where he lives, he was like going. We used to talk about ghosts, and he'd give the old bullshit. Where's the proof?
Yeah.
YouTube photos. The proof's out there, baby. But it was like saying things started happening in his house. Like it'd be things like he'd come home and the keys would have moved from where they were in the kitchen to another room. There's only him and his missus and her kid there at the time. Or the vacuum cleaner had come from the cupboard into the living room and was just in the middle of the living room. Hadn't backed up. It's a cruel ghost. Or one night they were in bed together and they woke up and the wardrobe was on top of them. The whole wardrobe.
No,
He couldn't breathe and he woke up and started panicking and the full stand-up wardrobe was on top of him. So he was like, ugh! And he was trying to think of excuses, going, oh, maybe we were drunk. Going, were you drinking at night? He's like, no. So
that's the thing that annoys me, right? And no disrespect to your anonymous friend, but like that's what really annoys me is that there's an explanation that is bollocks from people like that. Like, and you know, I've had friends, and again I won't mention names, but like I've had friends that have had an experience with me in the room, and then they will say, oh no, the actually I found out from my dealer the weed we were smoking was laced with LSD, or you know, I'm like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah,
come on,
yeah.
or it was actually like that tumble dryer that kept the door closed in the other room, and we couldn't open the door or whatever, even though it should have been the other end of the fucking room. Well, there may have been like an earthquake during that time, like, you know, and I'm like, what planet do you live on? Like the excuse that you're inventing is less likely than ghosts.
Oh yeah, no, it's stupid. I mean, with this one with the wardrobe, and he got the wardrobe off, and you know, to say he might have pulled it on top of it. Did he also take all the clothes out and put it on the other side of the room because they were at the other side of the room, all against the wall? And then he told me this other story, which chilled me to my very core. And so he sat in the living room with his missus. The kids asleep on the chair. Oh, also the kid used to always get shouted at because for bouncing up and down on the bed upstairs. But then the mum would be shouting up, stop messing about on the bed. It's like, I'm not. They're doing it. Oh, so much so that when
it's
he
like
was
the
at
Enfield
work,
haunting all over again. Oh.
but so much so, like one night she went outside with her daughter and stood in the garden until he got home from work at like midnight. Because it was just all this banging about and bouncing and stuff on the bed.
So she realised in the end that it wasn't...
Oh, she believes. She knew it was real because she was living in it. But he was just being so stubborn. But he was saying about... He's like, maybe I was just really tired. But one night, like I say, he's watching TV and he's sat on the couch. And it's one of those living rooms where there's a doorway with a staircase going up to the bedrooms. And he felt... He could, you know, when you notice something there out the corner of your eye... So he had a little look, and looked, saw something, looked back, trying not to think too much of it. I'm just being stupid. But what he could see was the bottom of a dress and 2 little feet.
Oh, no. Don't I?
Yeah, exactly, you know.
Oh, no.
And he's like, you know, he goes, maybe I was just really tired because, you know, ghosts of bullshit, blah, blah.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's like going, I was like, and how long did that stay for? It was like, about 3 hours. Just there in the corner of the room, he could see these little tiny feet. The bottom of what a nightie or a dress, just there, and every so often felt like somebody was like peering around at him. And
No, that's horrible.
I know, it is awful. It's
but then
awful.
to go from that to say like, oh, no, it's bollocks.
I mean, they don't live there now. They moved next door for some reason. You know that. You know, no wrong. No, we just the house wasn't the right house for us.
Yeah.
So we'll move into the identical one next door where the wardrobe doesn't jump on you and this little jerk girl doesn't watch you while you're watching TV.
God, like that's haunted furniture, like furniture that moves in your house. Did they live in the Beauty and the Beast castle? Is that what it is?
No, it was a terrace.
Okay. He was a terrorist.
No. Terrace.
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 The house was it? Right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But as you were saying,
No wonder you're leaving him anonymous, don't you?
But you were saying your dad's a Methodist minister.
Yes.
Does he have any good ghost stories?
Well, the thing is with Dad, like, there's because he's like a pillar of the community. There's a lot of things that he has to do that aren't. He's a pillar of the community. It has to do a lot of things that it's essentially like doctor-patient work. Like there's a confidentiality thing. So he didn't tell me a lot of things, but he did sort of anonymize a few things. And he was basically sort of saying like he has to do a lot of he wouldn't call them exorcisms, but like just basically saying a prayer in the house to just make sure things are safe and stuff. But he didn't really tell me anything specific, so like I don't have any from him. I do have my own.
Let me hear, Piper. Let me hear your ghost stories because I'm very excited about this part.
So, well, because of my family being who they are, my dad being a Methodist minister, we lived in the Methodist equivalent of a vicarage, which was like a Methodist manse. And it was
lab.
A meth lab, yeah. So it's usually a large house so you can accommodate church meetings and things.
Yeah.
So it means it's usually quite old. So it comes with its own ghosts, obviously. So we, when I moved to Bedfordshire because we used to move around every 8 years or so, but just because of the way the churches worked.
Driven out by the locals and the ghosts.
Yeah, exactly, like pitchforks and all of that. But we moved to Bedfordshire, lovely little house in a place called Biggleswade. Well, it was a lovely big house, actually. It was quite, it's a point. There was, out the back, there was this big grey granite underground building thing, which was essentially like an old Anderson shelter but made of granite. I think it was called a Matheson shelter or something. It's a lot more like a permanent version of a air raid shelter. Yeah. My dad built a model railway on top of it because that's the sort of person he is. But he also put inside it a load of World War II memorabilia because he thought, well, it would be great to have like scout groups around to have a look in their air raid shelter and stuff like. So they did that, and they had like one of those trapeze table type things just in the corner. And me and my friends decided one day to do a Ouija board. I know this is how they always start, and
No, we had a big thing about Ouija boards last week, and
I
think one thing we're learning very quickly is don't do a fucking Ouija board.
No, because I'd lived in the house for maybe 2 or 3 years with absolutely nothing. It was a lovely, friendly, inviting, warm house. And from the day that we did this Ouija board, everything changed.
You unlocked the shit.
And I really believe that I did. Like, whatever that means, whether that's... well, you know, I'm very open to what it could be. But basically, what happened was the table collapsed while we were doing it. And we shit ourselves. Nothing moved. Nothing else happened. Just the table collapsed. And
so you didn't get to say goodbye on the table.
We didn't say hello to anything. Nothing moved. Really? Nothing happened at all. We were just still for ages. Finger on the glass. And you know, I have my own reservations with how Ouija boards work because there's a lot of neurolinguistic programming that goes into like where like subconscious movements and stuff. So I'm a bit sort of about that, but I do think something fucking happened because. From that day that we did that, we came out and just shit ourselves, basically. And we're like, this table's collapsed, whatever. From that day, every single night, I'd go to bed and my wardrobe would rattle.
Ooh, I don't
but
like
only at like 3 a.m. Yeah. You know, the witching hour, yeah. So I'd just sort of freak out a little bit and just, my mum would be like, don't worry about it, just go to sleep. She'd come in and... I can't really remember because I must have been like 12, 13. So she'd probably say a little prayer or something and just sort of settle me down, and then go away. But what started to happen was as she'd leave the room, she'd go past my brother's room. My brother's got a little remote controlled fire engine, And that fire engine, every time she walked past the room, it would start blaring and going off. Like the sirens on it would go off and it would just zoom across the room. And so my mum would just go, she'd go in and go, Tim, what are you doing, my brother? And he'd just wake up and go, what is going on, sort of thing. So she'd turn the thing off, take the batteries out and go to bed. And this would happen every single night.
Why did she keep putting the batteries back in? That fucking fire engine, man.
Yeah, well, the thing
Jesus
is,
Christ.
She wouldn't put the batteries back in. The batteries were back in, but my brother was. Why didn't she throw it away? I don't know. I think my brother actually he's quite stubborn. He's a lovely boy, but he's very stubborn. So I think he was probably like, no, I'm not having someone take control of my fucking toys. Mm-hmm. So he kept it, but like the batteries would just be on the side, away from the thing, and then it'd go off regardless. Sometimes the batteries would be in, sometimes they wouldn't, and it was just. Whatever the case, it was going off every single night, and we were just like absolutely at our wits' end because we weren't getting any sleep. You know, it was just really
your mum
frustrating.
was having to do this every night.
Yeah.
So did she like see this wardrobe rattling and stuff?
I don't know. I think it was more a case of she was just like, it's just cars going past. Stop
Mums
panicking.
Mums are cool. They don't want to freak you out.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's it. But like but things got to a point where no one could deny it anymore. So every time my parents moved around the furniture, every 3 months or so, my mum would just go, I want to change the room around. Mm-hmm. And she'd move stuff. And there'd be all of these scribbles behind the furniture on the walls. And me and my brother, my brother was like 8 or 9 and I was 13, maybe 14. So like, we weren't dickheads. We were nice kids, you know, we were, you know, pretty average kids. We wouldn't lie. We were good. We were brought up Christian. Yeah. So like we wouldn't be doing that. And apart from anything else, none of us could move furniture to scribble behind. Like it wasn't a thing you could do. So my mum would just be like, what is this? You know, we put this furniture here and then when we moved it away, it's got all these biro scribbles and it's a lot of mess on really nice wallpaper. So she was quite cross. Course, and then what really came to a head was when they got this new to them. They were antique collectors. They loved buying antiques, and they bought this gorgeous Victorian 2-poster bed, and like really ornate posts with like the what's it called, the curtain that goes around the pillows and stuff. Yeah. And she was with my auntie was staying over because they'd helped to move it up to the bedroom, and my mum just went, do you know what? Whatever this thing is, I hope it doesn't draw all over my bed. And the next morning, my mum woke up and there were no scribbles, but over the bed head on just her side, just above where her head was biro pinpoints.
Oh my word.
All around where she'd been. And she was just like, that definitely was not there last night. I looked all around that bed because you know they valued it, they bought it. It was an undertaking, you know, it was expensive. So they there was not a scratch on that bed. There was not a mark. And the next morning it was just covered in these biro marks. So my dad said, I could do a prayer or something, you know, so get rid of it. And my mum said, do you know what? No, it's a child. Whatever this is, it's a kid. It's playing with Tim's toys. It's scribbling on the wall. This isn't some scary demon or anything. This is a child. And I was just like, my mum has just humanized this. And suddenly it's real. Because I was in the room when she was talking about it and her sister was still there, like my auntie. And she just said, right then, let's go and have a go. And they went upstairs. And my mum just stood by the bed and she said, right, I know you're here.
Before you go on, your mum sounds cool as fuck.
Oh, my mum is cool as fuck. Pam, she's a legend. I love my mum. Hi, mum. She'll probably watch this. So her and my auntie just stood at the end of this bed and just went, I know you're here, and you can stay here if you want, but don't you dare ruin my stuff.
Totally goes.
Because Dad was like, I'll get rid of it. I'll get it out of the house. And Mum was like, it's a kid. It probably lives here.
Your dad said burning sage. The secret book comes out.
But then, literally the next night, we're all awake for some reason. But my mum
because of the screams.
There was no more, no playing with toys, nothing. we were just sort of sat up. Mum was sat up in bed, and plain as day. And again, my mum is not someone that makes shit up. Off to her left shoulder, there's the entrance to the room, and this little boy comes in, wearing wartime clothing.
Oh, look, you see, look at that.
Yeah, he's got the cap and he's got the school uniform and everything. And he comes in, and Mum just turned around, about to tell Tim to go back to bed, because she was like, "Oh, it's just Tim up." And this boy looks at her, and she just goes, "Oh, I thought you were Tim." And this kid apparently just goes, "No, but I'm just as good looking, aren't I?" And then disappears.
Oh my!
And
gosh.
that was it for that one. Except a week later.
Oh my God!
Because
we were sorry.
So we were waiting for someone else to happen, but Mum was like, "No, he's gone." And she was a bit sad actually, because she was like, "It's just a kid, and now we've kind of chucked him out of the house and he's homeless." And I'm like, "Mum, it's a ghost. It's fine." I feel like he's probably gone on. Yeah. So we were all waiting for something to happen, but nothing did for ages. But like a week later, it had been snowing, and my mum opened the back door, and there was a child's footprints in the snow waiting at the back door.
Wanted to come in.
That's what she thought.
Oh.
And she went, "Martin, come here," to my dad. And my dad came running in. She went, he's back. The boy's back. The ghost boy's back." And my dad came in and he looked at these footprints and he just pissed himself. And he was like, "That's a cat that's been sat outside waiting in the snow." Because you've got the little paws and then you've got the legs. So it looked like a child's footprints. And she was like, "Ah, you're right, yeah."
Oh, I was getting really creeped out with it. This little cold ghost boy stood outside.
Well, the thing is with places like that, they do sort of, whether you believe it's ghosts or not, they hold something. They hold something there, and attract something, because they're so old. And my parents are bringing in antiques all left, right, and centre and stuff. So we had. I came home from school once and I could smell pipe smoke, really strongly, and my dad said, I told my dad, and he said, "That's really weird that you just said that, because and I forget his name now, but one of the church stewards who smoked a pipe had died that afternoon, and Dad was about to tell me about it." Ooh. So that was just a little aside, that was just I think just houses like that hold stuff like that. But that actual house, it was built by a guy called Mr. Kitchener, who used to live opposite, and he moved into this little house just to keep watch over the house, weirdly. And we knew him really, really well. We were really good friends with him and stuff. And my nan came and stayed. This is months after the whole incident with the little boy. My nan came and stayed. My mum's mum. She stayed in the spare room. My dad's, as I've mentioned, he's like a bit of a railway fiend. Yeah, I think it comes with the territory if you're a reverend, But yeah,
love them trains.
He loves them trains. The spare room, not Mum and Dad's room, because she wouldn't have it, but the spare room had all this railway armouring, including like loads of electromechanical clocks and bells and things that would have been signal stuff for in signal boxes and stuff but none of them are wired up or anything. They've long since stopped working, and the bells, like they have ringers on them, but they're not hooked up to anything. So but these things are just all around the room, and if you did walk around the room, the floorboards would move things and you get a little bit of a boop boop ding boop, but that's it. And again, 3 a.m, we were all just sat up in bed. We suddenly, just out of the silence, all of the bells went off.
Oh, really?
And I don't mean just they went ding ding. I mean, it was literally like an alarm. Every single one in that room was going ding 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 ding, and they wouldn't stop. And we went in there and we were like, "What's going on? What's going on? Nan, what's going on?" She was like, "What have you done? Why are you pranking me?" She was freaking out, and we were all like really sort of like, "What's going on?" And it's bang on 3 a.m, so we were like, "Shit," and we all tried to settle down and went to sleep. And then, you know, in the morning we were getting breakfast and stuff, and we got a knock at the door, and it was Mr. Kitchener's son, and he said, just to let you know, Dad died at 3 this morning.
Oh my gosh!
Just saying goodbye to the
Yeah,
house.
just popping in and said bye, guys.
Yeah. It's nice, that, isn't it?
It is, but also scary.
Little bit.
Left a letter.
Come on, mate.
don't freak out, Granny.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I think that was it, really. So, yeah, I think once he'd passed on and sort of said goodbye to the house, or I guess that's how we interpreted it, or whatever. But
Yeah.
You know, that I couldn't really work out. Even now, I can't really work out any other way of interpreting that.
Well,
like,
I think there is an explanation.
Ghost. Yeah.
100% a ghost. Everything you've just told me, ghosts. And
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. We've been talking for a while now, but thank you very, very much for joining me for episode 2. Have you enjoyed it?
I've loved it. It's better than Nuke's Top 5, isn't it?
Yeah, damn right. Well, Nuke's Top 5 is special, just being slack at the moment. But, Piper, before we go, Carl started this last week and I want to carry it on. Would you bang a ghost?
No, I mean, well, maybe actually. No, I did think about this last night, and I was like, no. But then you'd mentioned the Ghostbusters thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, do you know what? I mean, do I get to see the ghost?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well,
Otherwise, it's kind of weird, isn't it?
if they ask nicely, if there's a consent involved, then yeah.
May I have sex with you? And before we go, one more thing. Do you want to see the ghost photo?
Ghost photo.
Yeah, I'm going to show each guest. If you listened last week, you know about...
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. I'm just trying for
Oh,
continuity.
yeah. So, you know the story. My friend over in the States showed me this when he stayed in a hotel. A screenshot. And have I showed this photo before?
You have, but I think I was on a shift, so I was very tired.
Okay.
I don't really remember.
Oh my lord, that's not it. That's not. Where's it gone? I've done a lot since last week.
You've not got any clothes on there, Mikey.
I don't on that one. And here we go. There's a photo.
So
One day I will show you at home.
is he real?
He's real.
Oh, right. So he's not.
Wow.
The hell is that?
Exactly. To me, it looks like an old-fashioned old lady.
I'm not allowed to show.
No. I think eventually I'll show.
That is insane.
Isn't it? Creepy as shit.
Have you had a play with it? Just brighten it up at all? Mm-hmm. That's mad.
Yeah. And like you say, he wasn't a big believer, but thought it'd be funny and have all these.
But it does look like when you've got the little bustle at the back as
Exactly.
well. It
and
looks
the
like
hair, it's like it reminds me of
it's like Nanny McPhee or something.
some old Disney lady from an
Yeah.
old cartoon.
Yeah. That's insane. Send it to Nuke's Top 5.
Yeah. That's it. But yep. So thank you. Check out everything Piper does. The Carol Hodge Band, Housebound Scar Collective. Wobbly Bob stuff still up.
Wobbly Bob stuff is on Bandcamp, wobblybob.bandcamp.com. It's all free now because,
Yeah, fuck it.
it's not a thing. Why not? I also piperdoors.com. I have my own production company and I also do social media management. If you look at Slipgate or Lost in Paradise on any of the streaming services, that's my dubstep and drum and bass and psytrance stuff.
If I remember, I'll stick some links in the descriptions. I was meant to do that last week, totally forgot. But yeah, so thank you for joining me. Thank you all for listening. This has been Gigs and Ghosts with me, your host, Mikey Shiraz. Like I say, go find us on all platforms. Subscribe, leave a wicked review. And we'll see you for episode number 3. I won't tell you who the guest is going to be yet, but it'll be a beauty. Ooh.
I can't believe you got Morrissey. It's mad.
Oh, not having that racist. Spooky dookie. Say spooky, Piper. Let's see how I stop this.
I think you should leave this bit in. It's great.
I can't do it. Where's the arrow?
You got no mouse.
Nope. Oh, where was it?
Oh, it's 'cause it's on.
There we go.